Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Autobahn Academy podcast. So today I got Sam and Matt from Matador.ai, and what they're gonna share with you guys is going to blow your mind. I spent the last 15 years helping car dealerships create a better business online, learning from the best in the industry. The real question is, how can I help you do better in this fast-paced environment? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me as I explore, learn, and share marketing strategies you can apply in your store right now. My name is Mark, and welcome to the Autobahn Academy Podcast. I'm super happy to share this session with you guys because I'm joined by Matador's AI Sam Lalonde. Sam is the head of growth at Matador, and I want to do a quick disclaimer with you guys, just so you know. I joined Matador as an advisor on the board. It was a great opportunity for me because I think this is really something car dealers need today. I think it fills the gap between so many things, and I'm super excited to share that company with you guys. That super young company, but they've been on fire since they launched, and I'm guessing you'll understand why. So, Sam, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me. Good to be
Awesome,
here.
good, glad you're here. So it's been a few days trying to find the correct time, but we made it, so it's good. For anyone that doesn't know you and Matador, do you want to run a quick origin story from me?
Yeah, Matador is the brainchild of a Canadian auto group having a problem and not finding a solution with um, engaging with their existing and new customers and building out an app and to better engage with their customers and new leads coming in through different lead sources and being able to um, increase sales at the bottom line, and most importantly be better engaging and talking with their customers. We found that uh, increasing customer engagement is the number one way to increasing car sales. And when they built out this app for their internal use, they found that as people left the company and went to other dealerships, they started asking to use that product, and so that's where Matador sort of came out. And I've come from background of working over a decade in digital marketing and in SaaS and MarTech and consulting with different businesses. And I saw that Matador was doing some amazing work, and so joined up with the company at the beginning of this year.
Good. And like right now, how many clients do you have, and when did you guys launch?
So we started at the beginning of 2019, and we were primarily working with a few select dealerships in Canada and Florida, but we've grown to over 150 rooftops in less
Wow.
than a year's time.
Okay. Like, obviously you got an amazing team, an amazing product, but what's the number one wrong you're trying to make right in this business, in the automotive industry with car dealers right now?
Yeah, so we're seeing that auto dealers can be improving the way that they're engaging with customers. And
Right.
the way that we're solving that is through communicating and engaging with customers through SMS and text messaging. Uh, we find that we see higher engagements than any other channel, marketing channel that dealerships currently use. So with that, we're seeing open rates on text messaging being as high as 98%. Basically, everyone reads their text messages when they get them. Unlike email, where you're maybe reading them a quarter of the time, we're finding that we can improve engagement through an SMS first approach. What's amazing about that is that we found that by engaging with customers through SMS, we can improve overall sales at a dealership. Not only that, but we can also improve consistency and quality of those conversations that are happening at a dealership too.
Okay. Yeah, that's for sure. When you get a message, like an email is a two-part thing, right? It's not only the like how many times you read those emails every day, how many emails someone has, you might have two or three, four emails, whereas like SMS is pretty much target to one phone, right? And then what I really like on my end with SMS is that it's not a two-part thing. Where's the title? So when you see the email, it's not you won't open it automatically. But when you get an SMS, basically you see the message right away. So I think that's really smart. That's really one way to attack things.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And the interesting thing is that we're seeing that we can be automating the process and the speed at which we're communicating with customers as well.
okay.
So if someone's shopping around, comparison shopping, and going to, say, a dealer's website, and they submit a form or they engage with chat on a website saying like, hey, I'm interested in this vehicle, um, we're sending out a message nearly immediately. So that instant gratification that someone's seeing is coming directly to their phone, and it's cutting through all of that clutter because someone's not looking at their email, but they are looking at their phone all the time.
Okay. And how are you integrating automation in these SMS? Let's say, is it like only the first that's going out like automatically, or are you like taking customers to like some kind of a track, or what's the play behind?
Yeah, so not only are we sending out messages immediately, but we're also building out this tool and this program, and Matador itself is able to provide the follow up assistance that is so often dropped and forgotten, or just generally salespeople, you know, don't do consistently and regularly. I mean, it's so easy to forget about that new lead that came in 2 weeks ago, so why aren't you
Mhm.
following up with that is the question. And with Matador, it automates that entire process. So follow up becomes really simple, and it's getting re-engaging with customers who may have dropped off the map, and getting those conversations back to the forefront for a salesperson.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's funny because whenever we talk about automations, I mean, I love automations. I use a lot of them. I know you do too. Obviously, in the name of your clients, but in your business. But like, how I feel like some people are still scared about like the word automation, where it says, you know what, what's gonna happen if my customer does like makes does a different event or ends up on my site or walks into my showroom, but I'm still following up with that client. Like, what kind of twist did you guys find to make it like consistent and efficient on that end, not to over automate things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we've been doing some research into the industry, and we've been finding that um, when a salesperson gets a lead, they're messaging them immediately by email, they're calling them, sending them a text message. But fewer than 50% of dealerships are actually following up days later, weeks later, 30, 60, 90, 180 days later. And that's really dropping the ball when it comes to engaging with someone who's clearly interested in purchasing a vehicle. And it's so easy to forget for someone who's shopping around for a vehicle and just to drop off because they got distracted with something else. It's life.
Yep.
Um, Matador is helping with that consistent follow up, so it's not overly being burdensome of saying like, hey, look at us, hey, look at us, hey, look at us. It's we've been looking at through our machine learning program to be able to do consistent follow up that's not burdensome, but really helpful for everyone who's engaged in the process, from the customer's perspective and also from the dealership's perspective.
Yep. Now, how are you using AI to make it easier for car dealers around the country or in North America now, um, like to reach and follow up and ultimately sell more cars?
Yeah, I mean, it's no mystery how car sales work, and we've been doing it for so long, and we've been able to identify certain activities that salespeople, as humans are, just not really the best at doing, and that's that follow up that we're talking about.
Yep.
And so we've been able to condition our program and Matador to actually do these activities to be able to support the sales activities. So one great example is like what we call dead lead revival, where a lead that's come in and has gone quiet after 30, 60, and 90 days, we just send out a message saying, hey, we saw that you were interested in this vehicle. Are you still looking? Just a simple message like that. And we find that the re-engagement and the conversations that are happening again are as high as 20, 30, and sometimes 40%, depending on the
Yep, for sure.
dealership. And
Sure.
just right there, that for someone at a dealership, that's just a conversation that's popping up on their phone, for example, being like, hey, I'm still interested. And that's a conversation that's restarting again. And that's where I think the magic comes in, where Matador is helping with that engagement. And people think customer engagement, what is that? Well, this is just one aspect of customer engagement. It can take someone a year to purchase a vehicle and really make. And so by providing that consistent and thorough follow up, where someone just is constantly dropping the ball on that,
Yeah.
Matador is just there to be able to provide that assistance.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because, some dealers will have 200, 400, 600, 1,000 leads a month. And over time, it piles up, right? But it doesn't mean someone that did a lead 6 months ago has purchased already. And just by doing that, it's a numbers game. I think it works. And, it's super efficient to do it this way and to be able to rely on a system that's not using any emotional or distractions or, any emotions to do their follow ups. But this brings me to a question though. How do you guys manage, compliance over SMS basically? Because you guys are SMS first. So how do you guys manage the compliance part? Let's say you're messaging it like a ton of people. Do you ever run into issues where you're not allowed to follow up with the customers?
Yeah, we've made sure that Matador is TCPA compliant, and we're following all the rules that for compliance, and we focus on getting compliance at the lead source level. So
Okay.
with that, we know that we have compliance at the lead source level, and then also when we're sending out, say, a first text message, we do have a regular sort of like, hey, we saw you're interested in this vehicle message, but we're also saying you can always opt out at any time. Just say stop, for example. And that gets us around this issue of compliance, but it also allows us to be one of the only, if not the only, solution that is getting ahead of the compliance issues. So we're not dealing with things like double opt in and double opt out. When someone submits a lead form, we know that we can be sending them a message through Matador, and we're not having to have that second opt in, double opt in message. And we know that a double opt in kills conversion rates and
Yeah.
kills sales. And so we don't want to be sending out those redundant messages saying like, hey, we know you messaged, you are interested in this, but can we message you? It
Are
just
you
creates a,
sure you want to be
yeah, it's just like, are you sure you want to
Yeah.
buy
Are
a
you sure
car?
you want to do this?
And it's just, we know we've been able to avoid that redundant messaging, so we can get straight to the point and get straight talking to business
Okay.
through text messaging.
That makes sense. Obviously, you do have like deep CRM functions. Do you run into that brings two questions. Okay, so do you ever run into let's say you're out of compliance for a specific customer because it will happen, right? So how do dealers know like they can't message someone anymore? Plus, how they can make sure they are not doing that, like they're not messaging the same people, the same person in their other systems slash service the sales CRM. You know.
Yeah, so we have that directly built into Matador. So in the software itself, in the app, when you're using it, it will give you a warning saying, "Hey, we're not sure if this person is can be contacted," and that goes through. And then also we also have a warning system that says you cannot message this person, and that comes from being deeply integrated with all the major CRMs. We're adding CRMs it seems like every other day now, but we have Bin Solution, eLeads, and Dealer Socket as our majors,
Yeah.
and we're also adding others as we move along and as customers request them from us. But we are able to pull out that information directly from the CRM, and then as people are using Matador, they'll see everything's a-okay. You can message someone, no, you can't, and also that in between area, we're not sure, so you should probably double check. And so we'll
Okay.
flag those automatically.
Okay. Because that's important. That's super important. I'm sure you guys get this question a lot because obviously dealers already have CRMs in place, like one they chose or one they got, like pushed their way from like the OEM standpoint. So like it's important to have a tool that's easy to use to make sure they don't have to work to do the same thing twice or thrice, right? So I think that's and going back to that follow up sequences and everything. I forgot because you guys, I didn't see it yet, but what can you tell me a little bit more about the smart nudge function? I'm sure we'll talk about it in the kind of the demo part, but like, can you expand on this?
Yeah, so I like to think of smart nudges as being that really helpful personal assistant. It's saying, hey, don't forget to do this. And with Smart Nudge, it's doing those follow ups for us and providing those notifications so that we can be responding to customers and responding to new leads that are coming in, and so that we're not dropping the ball on anything. So it's just we're sending you those reminders so that you're not forgetting to be engaging with anyone.
Okay, and what's the format? Is it like an email or is it within the platform? Let's say I'm selling cars. What's happening?
Yeah, so it's directly within the platform, and you'll get a notification, and you'll be able to um, open up the application and go back in and use it, or you can also do it directly through the CRM itself. We're such a light layer on top of a CRM, so that you can use Matador directly. Well, you can't use it directly in the CRM, but you'll get the notes and notifications in the CRM, so you can open up
Okay,
Matador.
okay, nice. So you can kind of mix and match with pretty much any tool a dealership is using right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so like from your standpoint and from the team that's with you, what are the top three issues your product is solving right now for car dealers?
Yeah, so I once again, the biggest issue is the engagement side. So we're enabling dealerships to be, we're fostering the communications. We're providing an ability to be able to have more meaningful conversations with customers. And by doing that, we are elevating the level at which and improving the efficiency at which dealers can be selling new vehicles and services. Um, I think the one thing that we're constantly challenging ourselves at Matador with is asking ourselves, how can we be helping dealers improve overall operational efficiencies? And with that, it's once again with that engagement and consistent follow up and quality of follow up when it comes to engaging with customers and new customers in engaging in conversations there. So once again, you know, it's having those it's sending out those alerts and those messages to existing customers that are so easily forgotten all the time by salespeople at dealerships. And once again,
Yep.
that example of like dead lead revival, it's just like, it's so easy for someone to forget after 60 days that they should be contacting someone, even though all the time at dealerships we're saying, hey, get on the phone, we should be talking to someone. It's
Yep.
even something as simple as that person who purchased a vehicle or leased a vehicle 6 years ago who's now back in the market. That's in the database, and the old school way would be to have someone sit down, pick up the phone, and start calling. But with something like Matador, it's connected directly into the CRM. You can set the rule, you can create a custom message, and you can send out a text message saying, "Hey, it's been a few years since you last bought a car. Would you consider buying, coming back?" Just starting something simple as that. And we're seeing that the engagement rates are huge, and people are more than happy to start the conversation, even if it's just a no. I mean,
Yeah.
at least there's the reminder.
Yep.
And with that, we're seeing huge positive results at dealerships as a result of that.
No, for sure, because you probably know like conquest and getting new customers in the door is super expensive. So I think there's a lot of money to be made in retention and using the customers we already know, whether it's them buying or a friend or like a family member or anything. Just following up with these guys, just not only pushing promos, but just asking questions, confirming if they like the car or whatever. So when it's done through a machine, is much more reliable. Some salespeople are able to do it, are consistent enough, but it's not the majority, I think. So
Yeah, and it's like something as simple as like happy birthday, sending out that
yep,
the little personalized message. Um, if you're not having to send that out manually, then you're saving some time by doing that, and that's great.
yeah, for sure, and you can provide better service to anyone that's really in front of you. That's for sure. Is there any other issues you find that like top of mind? I can see, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I see a lot of dealers that are having like four, five, six different tools on their websites, and just in the sake of conversion. But like at some point, it kind of gets burdensome for the end user. Okay, so it's not a game that it's not about the dealer, but it's about the user. Is there any way Matador can help those dealers that have like 60 different widgets on their homepage?
Yeah. So when we do have a chat application that can go on a website, and with that, we're actually just pushing directly to text message with that chat app, which is
Yep.
great because then we're seeing higher engagement rates. But with that, we're also seeing that with our other features with broadcast and connect, for example, we're able to consolidate three, sometimes four, five, or six different individual apps that a dealership is using, and cut out those costs for a cheaper solution, and that being Matador, and being able to do slightly more with it too. So we're seeing that we can actually displace upwards of five or six different individual apps that customers are using.
Nice. Of course, when this episode is done, we're gonna run a quick demo, something that's a little bit more visual. So if you guys are listening to this podcast, I suggest you go over to the link in the show notes. We'll have this video and demo pretty much everywhere you can find it, either on Autobahn Academy or Matador and on YouTube. But make sure you don't miss it if you're interested to see actually how it plays out. Okay. So I want to take you now to the Autobahn round. So when like it's a set of questions I ask every guest. In a nutshell, is just to know a little bit more about you and the company. So when you're not when Sam Lalonde is not working at Matador AI, what are you doing right now these days?
It's so difficult to answer in the age of COVID.
Nothing.
uh, what normally, like in the before times, as I
Yeah,
call it,
let's keep it
uh,
good before time and
I,
after time.
I would normally be found at either an art exhibit,
Okay,
or
nice.
at a one thing that in Montreal, I'm based in Montreal, is the music scene here is really wonderful, and we have
Hmm.
acts coming through all the time. So like on a Friday or Saturday evening, I'd usually be at something with live music. But as of lately, it's doing a lot of long walks, and long walks up the mountain, as we call it, or along the Lachine Canal here in Montreal.
Yeah, beautiful spot. Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. And so so that's for the entertainment part. What do you do to learn new things?
Yeah, so I've fostered a really great community of industry colleagues working in not just digital marketing, but more broadly with digital itself. And so I really like engaging with my industry colleagues and asking them, what's new today, and asking those questions. They tend to be able to share what they're working on, and that's really interesting. But beyond that, really love joining in different Slack channels.
Yep.
I've done some research into different Slack channels, and there are always different growth marketing related Slack channels that have been really great for engaging with different and different people and seeing what they're doing.
Nice. So, like to segue on that, like who do you look up to? Like whether it's personal on the business side. Let's say, do you have some kind of like guy or girl? You know what you're like. You know what this one is really successful, and I'm learning a lot from this person in particular.
Um, I don't like to point to individuals in
Hmm.
that way, because then it creates this like huge ego bubble for so many people. Um, but I'd say that there are different organizations that I look up to, and seeing how they're innovating and
Interesting.
seeing how
Yep.
they're challenging the status quo. Um, I don't want to be cliche and saying like Tesla and SpaceX, but
Hmm.
I think that those organizations and businesses are really doing amazing things, and uh, you know quite literally reaching out to the stars in terms of what they're aspiring to do. And so I look to different businesses and seeing how they're trying to you know reach out and have these aspirational goals, and how they're solving the problems for humanity. Most recently, with COVID being such a big thing, I've been looking at different pharmaceutical businesses, as well as different scientists, and seeing how they're able to be solving some of the most challenging and most difficult problems in society today. And that's partly like solving COVID and providing vaccines, and how quickly they've been able to innovate on this. And I think that how they're thinking about solving these problems is easily translatable into the general business world, and how we're going about innovating our work as well.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I like the way to see it as organizations, like instead of people, because you name Tesla and SpaceX for sure. We think of Elon Musk right away, but can we agree that he's not the only one that's doing a decent job over there? He's, you
Yeah,
know,
I think what makes great things are teams, and looking at
yeah,
how teams are collaborating and working is what's key, and not just pointing to one person and saying that's the great person. I mean, it's the hundreds or thousands of people behind that face that's really making amazing work.
yeah, makes sense. And last question. What's your favorite read? Like, let's say, is it a book? Is it a blog? Where do you go online to learn new things inside of a Slack channel, for example?
Yeah, I've been getting more and more and more and more into podcasts, and
Good.
I've been really enjoying one podcast. It's like the Wind of Change has
Okay.
been one of them, and also Slow Burn, which has been really interesting. And these are the places just for you know the evening podcast listen. I've been finding them to be really interesting.
Okay. What's the top like? What's the topic of these two? Like slow burn. I'm guessing it's about business.
Yeah, so slow burn. I got really into it when talking about it's a little bit more on the politics side. So it was looking into the affairs with uh, Bill Gates, but then
Okay.
also
Okay.
most recent one I listened to was speaking about Tupac Shakur and Biggie Small,
Okay.
and getting into all of that. And then Wind of Change was talking about music and the end of or the fall of the Berlin Wall, and how the CIA might have been able to have influence through this really popular song, "Wind of Change," as
Yeah.
it were. Yeah.
Interesting. Nice. Nice. I'm gonna look into those two podcasts. I didn't know about them, so it's good. Before we get into the little demo part about Matador, that's gonna be available online, YouTube at Matador and Autobahn. Can you tell me a little bit more, like how do we find you, and how do we find more about Matador?
Yeah, so you can find out more about us at our website. It's Matador.ai. Um, you can find us there. I think we're not providing or doing any crazy promotions because we're so confident in our ability to improve sales on a month over month basis and improving incremental sales. So we would rather have someone reach out to us so that we can get them on a demo. And you'll be seeing a demo shortly. We're really excited about what we're providing, and we're seeing amazing results with the customers that we have right now. But you can find us at matador.ai.
Okay, good. Do you use any social media platforms? Can someone find you on social media? Let's say LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on all the socials. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. You can find us there under the same name, Matador AI.
Good, good, good. Is there like an email address someone can use to send like a couple of questions, book a demo?
Yeah, so you can send an email to hello@matador.ai.
Okay, good. So like obviously you said you can help dealerships in like in a big way to like to provide like the solution with no discounts, but I'm gonna do an offer on my own if you don't mind. Let's if anyone books a demo through Autobahn these days for Matador, I'm gonna add you I'm gonna add a 30-day free unlimited access to Autobahn Academy, so make sure you check this out if you're interested. So right now we're going to move on to the demo part of this video, and Sam's going to show you two or three different things this platform can do for you. All right, so now is the demo part for Matador. So I got Sam and Matt with me. Hi, Sam. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Awesome. So what I want to do with you guys, just a really short demo. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole platform. With you guys right now because it's gonna take a long while because there's much to see. But I want you to pick and show us the top two, three, four main features. Matador, like inside Matador, solving the biggest problems for car dealerships right now. So if you want to take me through it, I see there's a dashboard right now. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it looks like and why we see what we see right now?
Yes, absolutely, Mark. So mainly Matador, what it is a customer engagement platform. What we've noticed in the industry is that customers submit leads through third parties, through their website, and the response time of those leads was, first of all, very slow. But also sometimes a lot of those customers used to fall through the cracks because the follow-up wasn't done long enough. So Matador, what we tried to do to fix this problem that a lot of dealers had is to have a AI sequence, an AI bot trigger to those customers immediately as soon as the lead is submitted, and also continue to submit those predetermined sequences throughout the whole customer's life when they submit the leads until we get that customer engagement. And that's really the focus that we want to get, is to get that customer engaged in a meaningful conversation. So the Matador tool was based around that. What's really great with it, and I'll be able to show you a little bit with the dashboard, is that the AI sequences that we set up can be personalized for every single dealers based on their process, based also on the touch point that on the specific touch point that they want to use. They can have a specific sequence for that one. They can bundle it up like third-party leads, website leads, finance leads, etc. So you can really be granular as how you want to set it up, and that's really the beauty of the platform. So first off, the dashboard. So you can see overall activity going on. So how many messages are going back and forth in the platform. And let's remember, this is strictly text messages. So it's It's only texting with the customers. The reason why also Matador is only texting is because we've noticed that 98% of the messages we're sending out to the customers are actually open and read, which is huge in the industry. So then we have an overview of everything that's going on. So we have the different touch points here that we can connect through the platform. So in this case, we have probably some of the most popular ones. So this is a Kia website. So it's all their Kia digital, cars.com, TrueCar. We have a few more right here. So obviously Car Gurus, Gubagoo, Car Now. So pretty much all the touch points that dealer wants to connect, we're able to connect through the platform. And we can see what's the percentage of engagement for each one of these touch points. So let me just go to the most popular one. So you see here, Kia Digital, we had about 779 touch points, cars.com, True Cars, etc. And you'll notice right here on the right, we have the engagement percentage for each one of them. So for True Cars, for example, whenever there's a lead that's submitted, with this sequence, we're able to have meaningful conversations with 62% of those customers. Now, we know in the industry, we're about like the 50-50 rule, where 50% of those leads that come in, 50% of those customers actually get in a meaningful conversation, 50% of those book an appointment, 50% of those actually show up, etc. So with Matador, we really try to get above 60% for all the conversation. So we're more or less in that range, and that's really how we can determine that a dealer is being successful with Matador. Then we have the appointments, so we can book automatic reminders through text for appointments. We also have calendar invites, which is a very, very powerful tool that we have. So not only are we sending calendar invites, but we're also sending text reminders, but we're sending calendar invites on the customer emails that's going to show up in their phone, in their calendar, and that's going to give them that extra commitment to actually show up in store. And we've actually improved numbers of 50% showing customers to up to 70 and 80% showing customers just with this feature. Then we can have the AI bot, so you can see overall what's the percentage, so number of profiles that were messaged, how many messages were sent by the bot, the percentage engagement. Now I know those are big numbers right now, but it's a very busy dealer, and they're getting a lot of messages going through with the bot. But you can see like 34,000 messages. That's how many messages the AI bot sent automatically without any human interaction. So that's really huge numbers. And this is the reviews, review invites. We also have that available, so we can send a link to the customers so they can leave the Google reviews, Facebook reviews. You can see how many customers open them, how many reviews are left, etc. So you have an overall average on there. You also have the user performance data, where you can see how each one of your users are doing. So you have a number of customers that are assigned to this user, how many messages are sent, how many review invites they've been sending, and how many appointments they've booked. So you can have an access of all of this easily on the dashboard. So I'm going to show you the platform a little bit, how it looks. The whole goal of this was to make this very user-friendly and make it a little like a text conversation. And as you can see, we're using kind of the same colors as the same kind of template as iPhones, etc. when you're texting. So it looks very similar. I'm going to show you a little example of what the messaging looks like when the AI bot is at work. Let me get that for you guys. So we have a great example here. So Charles Monroe sent the lead here. This is in February 1st. And you'll notice this lead came in at 12:55 p.m. And the AI bot engaged within that next minute. So 12:56 right here. So it's really a specific message we're able to do. So we're able to use dynamic fields as well to personalize every message that's going out. So, hi, Charles, I saw you requested information regarding a vehicle. I'm with Hollywood Kia. How can I help? So you see, it's very personal, one-on-one kind of thing, even though it's an AI bot. So we don't want it to make it general. Then we see that the customer did not engage yet, so no reply from the customers. We got another message going out about an hour after. So this is all programmed once again by the dealer. That's how their process they wanted to use. That's how their BDC agent used to try to contact the customers. So we really were able to replicate this with our AI bot. So the second message, once again, personalized with the customer's name. So was someone at Hollywood Kia able to help you on your request? Now, we didn't add here the touch point where the lead is coming from, but we could have also added, so was someone at Hollywood Kia able to help you on your request from, and then Car Gurus. So we're able to add that dynamic field as well to make it even more personal. And you'll notice the customer still didn't engage, and we're just continuing to follow up and following up. And obviously, these messages are not being sent out every day. So we have one here, say on February 12th, then this one on February 19th. So kind of a normal follow-up that you expect your BDC agents to actually do. Matador is able to replicate without any human interaction, and you're actually waiting. We're doing pretty much the heavy lifting for you. So we want to make sure that your customers are contacted, that the follow-up is done, but we only get you engaged in that conversation once the customer interacts with us. So, and this is a great example. You see on March 3rd, which is approximately a bit over a month after that customer initially submitted the request on Car Gurus, finally the customer replied yes. In this situation, what happens and what, yeah.
No. I was about to say this is why this is so important, because to anyone looking at this right now or listening to this, like it's been a month, no answer whatsoever from the customer or the prospect client. Most dealers most teams would have given up like by now. Okay, so this is key,
Exactly.
because like on in this very example, no effort were made from the BDC standpoint or salespeople standpoint, but the AI bot was actually able to re-engage that person 30 days after, with no emotions involved, and this is key. So just a perfect example here.
Exactly, and you said it so well, Mark. You know, after a week or two, if the customer doesn't reply, obviously, you know, some of those customers tend to fall through the cracks. Other leads are coming in. Customers, you know, there's other conversations going on. So those customers that take time to reply, like I said, most of the time they fall through the cracks. So we really avoid this with Matador, and we hit the user as soon as the customer replied. The user was hit, and we got a response. So which vehicle are you interested in? We have the customer who gives the year, make, and model of the car, etc. So we really start to have a meaningful conversation with a customer who took a month to reply after he submitted that lead. So that's really the power of Matador. And we could set up sequences, like I said, for up to 180 days, which is huge. So that's one of the reasons also we're able to have that percentage of engagement through the roof, and be able to get as many customers as possible in store. And that's what the magic of it all is. So that's a really nice thing. Yeah.
What I like about this example, which I forgot, is it's a used car. So most dealers I work with, they're telling me, you know, after a few days, after a few weeks, if it's a used cars, they already bought, right? But in this case, it was a used car and they are still shopping. So please, guys, never leave these people out of your follow-up strategy for that specific reason.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, Mark. That's there's a lot of times where we kind of lose track of the used car, unfortunately. Great. So that's the overview of the AI bot. So another feature that Matador has is in regards to mass texting. So we're able to create campaigns, whether it's segments within Matador, or you can import your own list of customers, and you're able to send a list. We like to use a lot of unsold dead leads, so customers that came in your last month that didn't buy, that came up in your showroom. The best example, and I think that's very relevant, is sometimes when let's say a sales rep puts the deal lost. Maybe the manager wasn't aware of why that deal was lost, and maybe there could have been something done with that customer. We never know. This happens a lot, unfortunately, but we're able to take those customers and just try to give them a revive, just try to give them a second chance. And I'll show you one of the results. One of our latest broadcasts that we did with this was actually with one of our new dealers that just onboarded with us. And they had a list of their unsold leads for the past 30 days. Now, they had, we selected about 500 names. Out of those 500 names, we had 496 that were actually delivered on the customer's phone as a text message. And we had 155 replies, which is a huge amount, which represents 31% of replies. So this is not just open text message, we read it. This is actual meaningful conversations that our customers are taking the time to reply, and you're just engaging with them and just finding out, if they're still on the market, if they're still looking for a car. Even if they say no, that they're not interested, a lot of the times they're just going to like the attention that you gave to them. And we have a lot of messages saying, no, I'm not looking for now, but thank you so much for reaching out. And who knows, this kind of opportunity where a customer is going to come back just because you sent that broadcast and you took care of them. So it's a really powerful tool. Once again, it makes it really easy, once again, on the sales rep, on the BDC, where they don't have to reach out to every customer one by one. We're still able to get personalized messages as well. I'm just going to show you the example here. So we always have the customer's first name. Now, this is a pretty straightforward broadcast with not much information. We're just trying to revive customers. We don't want to push them too much with like promos and stuff like that. It's just a little hit up saying, hi, Vincent, are you still on the market for a new vehicle? So, and it works super well. And that's a really great part. The other thing that we do also, when we try to push promotions a little bit more, or if we have any interest in purchasing cars from customers, so any trade-ins or stuff like that, then we could also incorporate the year, make, and model for each customer. So it's a dynamic field, once again, that we use to really personalize that message that's going out. We can incorporate the name of their sales rep if you want to have like a revive campaign, or if their lease renewals coming up and they have a specific sales rep assigned to them, we can personalize that as well. So we're really unlimited in terms of possibilities to try to engage the customers with a valued message that's being sent out, and nothing that's really general, and that customer can say, well, hey, that's pretty simple. They send out to everybody. So that's really the whole goal of this broadcast as well.
I mean, that's amazing, because I think there's a lot of money left on the table for like the largest portion of dealers right now, just by not doing that kind of stuff. I'm a firm believer, and I help dealers on that very front, and I think this is key, guys. This is key.
And if I could add, Mark, as well,
Yeah.
I believe so. A lot of dealers spend money on getting more leads, and converting more and more and more leads. We really believe that, yes, converting more leads is a very good way, but the main goal of Matador is to be able to optimize the actual leads that you're having right now, and just make sure that you utilize 100% of the potential of those leads, and max it out. So out of 100 leads, if we use the example, instead of, let's say, having 50% of meaningful conversation, let's say we're at 65%. And then we get 50% of those customers who we book an appointment with. And then with our calendar invite automatic reminder, we're able to boost appointment show to 80%. At the end of the day, those customers, that same batch of 100 leads, you're probably going to get 5 or 6 more sales at the end of the month with those same 100 leads, just by using the platform.
No, for sure. I think like if a dealership's gonna put up 5, 10, 15K on the table every month to get new customers in, they have to do whatever they can to increase all of those numbers in terms of appointments and then sales in the end, because this is what makes the difference between a cost per sale of $800 and a cost per sale of $200. And the two, at one point, 800 paying $800 for a new customer, it doesn't make sense for a business because you might be losing money, but at 200 it's good, you know. So like these are the things that dealers must be looking at these days, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And the tool is just to make it easy. We have, I'm going to show you quickly, but we could also set notifications for each one of the users. So we can add notifications. We send email or phone notifications because you can also have Matador on the phone. So it's just easy way. As soon as the customer replies, you get a ding. You can start engaging with the conversation, and then make sure your customers are replied to in a timely manner, and not wait for a customer to reply, or you're just ready for it. And when the customer is engaged, you're there, you're present with your customer, have that conversation, and the rest of the time you can do whatever you have to do in a dealer that day, right? So that's what's really great. It's really it saves a lot of time.
No, I see. It's like it's a really simple platform, and this is what I like basically about it, because any complicated tool put in the hands of whether it's a BDC or whether it's a sales team, it gets unused basically. If people don't use the product or don't use the solution, it's not gonna take care of the problems at some point. And this is why I think you guys nailed it on this one. That's for sure. I wanted to keep this demo kind of short. Obviously, we didn't cover everything you guys are doing, but is there anything you'd like to add before we get going?
I mean, obviously, we're still improving on a lot. There's a lot
Hmm.
of great features to come, especially with the particular situation that we live in right now. Um, there's the process of buying a car is going to change a lot. So we have a lot of great other stuff coming in. I can't talk about it really right now, but definitely we keep on growing. The whole goal of the platform is to understand the reality of dealers and really make it easy for them. So we're really trying to solve every little issues that they may have to make it simple, and to try at the end of the day, right? It's to generate more sales, get more people in store, and make sure that it's fun for the sales rep, but it's especially a fun experience for the customers. And that's what Matador is all about.
All right, that's good. So we'll close this one out. You guys listening to this or watching this video, you can reach out to Matt or Sam. We're gonna put the links in the show notes just to make sure you can where to go at. Obviously, the deal is still good if you want to go at autobahnacademy.com/matador, and you can book a demo through that page. I'm gonna give you a free month of Autobahn Academy Unlimited. If anyone has a question for you, Matt, what's your email?
Yes,
What
you can
email
reach
should be
me.
used?
So it's going to be Mathieu, Mathieu, at matador.ai.